Pennsylvania Municipal League. We work on behalf of municipalities, cities, boroughs, and townships all over the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Our mission is to strengthen, empower, and advocate for effective local government here in Pennsylvania. We have our Municipal Leadership Summit, which brings together League members as well as the Township Commissioners Association and the Pennsylvania Career Fire Chiefs Association. And local leaders are the ones that make decisions that affect our everyday lives. Everything from our streets to lighting to our refuse pickup, sewer and water management issues. Everything we do for economic development and community development, it's really about the quality of life in our municipalities. And local leaders, doesn't matter what perspective they are, Republican or Democrat, their real goal is to make the community better. And that's what we try to do. So we try to serve those who serve in our local community. Well, we have all kinds of issues. There's public safety issues. We're having trouble hiring police officers right now. So there's a real crunch to hire good quality folks from all backgrounds to serve in our police departments. We're using new technology in great ways, and we're going to talk about that during the Municipal Leadership Summit. Of course, we've been trying for years to get the Commonwealth to allow local police departments to use the radar technology to help slow people down through our main streets and through our local communities. We're working for economic development and community development issues so that communities like Bethlehem, here in the City of Bethlehem, can continue to revitalize. So we're looking for all of those tools and opportunities to help make the community better. We know across Pennsylvania, whether you're a city, borough, or a township, there are a lot of communities that have this problem of blight. We have properties that need maintenance, whether they're owned, whether they're rental units, and so we have to really work hard to make sure we're attacking those issues, and it takes money and resources to get it done. You need code enforcement officers, you need police and fire and other departments of your municipality working together to attack that blight, and hopefully to help create new opportunities for businesses and homes in those communities. So blight is a big issue. The Commonwealth has given us a few tools to attack blight, but we're hoping we can do even more in the coming years.
I think blight is a central issue that all of us, whether you're a large or small city, or even our boroughs and townships, particularly the older ones, we confront the issue of blight, and it's a very important issue because it impacts significantly in many ways. It affects directly each neighborhood that it's in. All the studies indicate that a blighted structure in a neighborhood affects the response of the structures around them. And then, we all look at the finances of our municipality and ways to find other funding. Blighted structures are certainly funds that are left on the table. So those are some of the central issues. I mean, the other thing you'll see is that there's often associated police and fire and EMS calls associated with those properties that are blighted. So from a municipal standpoint, we as the League have been working together, with our elected officials, not only in Harrisburg, but in Washington, to look at other legislation. Several years back, the land bank legislation was passed, blight board legislation has been passed, and then really some more specific pieces of legislation. But, we'd like to see our counties recognize blighted structures, and when we go to tax sales, identify those structures so that I think there are some people that come in that hope to buy properties that have good intentions, but just don't know what they're getting into. So we really believe in the specter of blight, there's a lot that can be done.
Blight affects every community, and we in Sport, what we've done, actually, we expanded our blighted property review board by 2 people. Really, we started to now fund our redevelopment authority and our land bank. So City Council, along with administration, we allocated about $1 million each to the redevelopment authority and land bank. We just recently created a land bank, relatively recently, December of 21. So we're looking forward now to have the teeth, our RDA land bank have the teeth to address some of our blighted property issues that have been plaguing the city for a long time. We're starting to do some emergency demos. We're starting to do some acquisitions. So we're hoping over the next few years here, we start to make a dent in some of our blighted property issues.
We've been tearing down a number of blighted properties, but really it's just a drop in the bucket. It's just such a massive project, and we really need the support of the state, I think. And they have been, but we're going to have to continue doing that for a long time, I think.
We have been fighting blight in Scranton for a long time. From the beginning of our administration, it's something that we have been focused on, and with the help of Mayor Lombardo, who is currently the president of PML, he's been right there with us, helping us understand what the best practices are so that we can figure out how to demolish these properties that are blighting our community, how to move forward with our existing land bank in Lackawanna County, and figuring out what more we can do. This week we actually hired a director for our redevelopment authority. That is a huge win for us here in Scranton. We're looking forward to that person being able to catalyze even more of the blight reduction in Scranton. There's a long way to go. It's a big issue for us, but with the help of, like I said, our colleagues and peers at PML and the help of PML's advocacy, we're fighting that.
When I came into office, our city was filled with blighted properties, and now we actually have a resurgence of business opening in the downtown area. All our storefronts are almost completely filled right now, but we have become more aggressive. We've doubled the size of our code department, and we're aggressively going after the owners of those properties.
Well, in Gettysburg, we do have issues of like some buildings that need to be restored, but we're working on it as a community and working with different economic development and bringing together people to answer these issues. Like we got a development grant for some of the buildings to clean up their exteriors. So it's an issue, but we are addressing it as a community, a council.
Actually, blight affects every community, especially ours. We're located in the city of St. Mary's up in northwest Pennsylvania. And of course, as our aging infrastructure, trying to do our best to say, hey, how can we revitalize or even taking advantage of trying to demolish and build up new? And so during our efforts, we're actually working with DCD, some of the CBBG monies, to put towards how to revitalize our community. But it's so important that legislation's passed that gives more effectiveness to our code enforcement, our zoning officers, so that we can deal with blight, because it's going to be continuing years to come. This is not a new issue, but we have to find solutions to move forward into our futures.
What we have is 40% vacancy in our business district. So we're looking at reconfiguring our marketing strategy and having a marketing strategy to promote that. But we're surrounded by communities, and we're involved with the Mon Metro Chamber of Commerce, which has a tremendous amount of blight in most of the communities that are like Bethlehem, former steel towns, 50 years of disinvestment and a lot of difficulty. So when you're trying to have a community thrive, your neighbors have to thrive as well.
Our community doing this fight blight is we hired 2 coordinators who is out there looking each day on the street. And what we did, we collaborated with Dauphin County, and we also hired another coordinator who will be out there, and we are attacking that blight.
We all know that we have to pay property taxes here in Pennsylvania to cover the cost of our municipalities and the services that we provide. The biggest cost is public safety. And so we haven't really had any change in our tax laws since 1965. And we believe, with the report we did with the Pennsylvania Economy League, that local municipalities should have a menu of options so that they have more tools in the toolkit to help pay for cops, to pay for firefighter services and EMS, and to help make sure we have the resources to fix up our infrastructure and continue to make those communities great. So we need a revamping, a reform of the current municipal laws that affect us from the revenue standpoint here in Pennsylvania. And we have a long list of options that we've been advocating for.
One of the biggest challenges that local municipalities is facing is the opportunity for them to really raise funding specifically around projects that they want to focus on. In Phoenixville, we've been fortunate. We've been trying to really focus on projects dealing with public safety as well as our parks and recreation. And so we would like the opportunity as a local municipality to be able to raise funds specifically towards projects that are of interest to our residents.
So basically, we only can get revenue through our property taxes by raising it. We're not allowed to raise our earned income tax. If I had more tools in my toolbox, I wouldn't have to rely on property taxes, which is a very regressive tax. So I'm really hoping the legislature will give us some more tools in our toolbox so that we can go out and make better financial decisions and not overly impact our residents.
The state legislature, I'm not asking them to raise taxes. I'm not asking them to raise our ability. All I'm saying is give the cities the ability to do it. You know, we're grown men too, and women that are in local government. You're not the state houses and Senate. They're the only ones who know about local government. We know about local government. We don't have enough local government officials in the state and House, Senate, and Senate.
I think we all know in cities of the third class like Williamsport, Lancaster, the main revenue generator we have are property taxes. Well, folks, we can't always continue to put the burden on property owners' real estate taxes and just continue to drive up those costs, which are already high, and people we know are leaving the cities for the areas surrounding the city, but still taking advantage of all the amenities in the city. So we do need to talk to Harrisburg, which we're doing, talk to our legislature, and provide third-class cities with a menu of options other than just real estate taxes to take some of that burden off of our property owners.
We did a look to the future. Instead of doing a typical visioning exercise as an organization, as a part of our strategic plan, we engaged our members and we went out to regional meetings all over Pennsylvania. We did a number of surveys. We got our board and our executive committee actively involved. And we said, what would you like your government to look like in the next 10 years, in 2032, because we did this last year. And so we had a long list of innovative ideas from local leaders on how to make their communities better, how to better utilize technology, how to diversify your workforce, how to continue to involve residents and communicate with them in a more effective manner and get them involved in their government. So that's what we're trying to do, is help local leaders think boldly and progressively about making their community better over the next decade. And our envisioning process continues. We have great examples of innovation on our website at pml.org.
We all know that Envision 2032 is an opportunity for economic development to enhance our municipalities and economic growth. So that's something that we take very seriously in our city, making sure that we do everything possible to plant the seeds to see it come to fruition.
We have a growing population and a growing interest in our community, and we need to make sure that people can move about it safely and efficiently. That means we need to invest in bike and pedestrian safety and infrastructure and public transportation. Those are absolutely critical investments. The other issue we see, because there's growth, there's demand for housing and real estate. Affordable housing can be difficult to find, so we have a lot of people having to drive in from outside of the area. So we're looking to find ways to fund affordable housing in our community.
Something we love about PML is working together to envision what the future looks like, and a lot of that is being more aggressive about marketing Pennsylvania itself as a whole, all of our communities, for investment, right? We need to be out there showing what Pennsylvania has. We're rich with natural resources. We have incredibly talented populations. We've got to get out there more and market to the rest of the country, and within our regions we've got to be working together, which we are, to figure out what the kind of key industries are in the different regions of Pennsylvania. So we've got incredible potential, and we're looking forward to working together to reach that potential.
Well, I think we've talked about taxation, that's certainly one of them, but infrastructure is a central issue. We have a lot of aging communities. We were able to, because of ARPA and because of some of the investment dollars that have come out of DC, we've been able to tackle some of those issues, but a lot of our municipalities have old, archaic infrastructure systems, sewer, stormwater management. Those are all becoming hot topic issues. So in order for us to plan forward, and consider sustainability, we need to look at those very important infrastructure issues. Not to mention the fact that, roads are on a schedule. You can fix them, they can look great, they don't last forever. So we need to keep working on that.
My background is in law enforcement. I retired as from a police department in the city where I'm mayor. But we were cross-trained as firefighters as well, and I also serve as the emergency management coordinator. So, and part of the concept behind that is that you can count on neighboring municipalities when you have a large incident, and we just can't do that anymore. Our department's a full-time paid department, and we end up responding first in neighboring municipalities, and that's happening all over the Commonwealth, and it's not fair to our residents. And frankly, it's not fair to the residents who aren't being served. Because the possibility is we can't go because we're doing something on our own, and then they're just stuck. So I think that's the big thing in my view.
Thanks to everyone from the Pennsylvania Municipal League's leadership. I'm honored to welcome local leaders from all across the Commonwealth to the City of Bethlehem, as well as Pennsylvania Auditor General Tim DeFore, who I'm proud to serve with in Harrisburg. I enjoyed being with you last year, and I appreciate the chance to address you again. This is a great place for a leadership summit, right here in Bethlehem, a city on the rise thanks to Mayor Willie Reynolds, an incredible leader and longtime friend who's made sure his city is welcoming folks to the community while working to make it safer and working to make local government work for everyone. Local leaders like all of you are where the rubber meets the road in your communities. You are who our neighbors turn to when they need to get stuff done. So you know how important it is to deliver results every single day. That's why I'm grateful for our partnership, not just with the Pennsylvania Municipal League, but with strong leaders like Mayor Sirachi from Lancaster, Mayor Lombardo from Pittston, and Mayor Baker from Franklin. I want you all to know that my administration stands with you in your mission to serve the good people of Pennsylvania. In our first 9 months in office, we've listened to you, and we've heard how we can support the work you do and help you build communities that Pennsylvanians are proud to come home to and work in. That's why I fought for and secured significant investments in your communities in this year's budget. Thanks to our historic budget, the Department of Community and Economic Development is now able to invest more in your main streets and small businesses through our Keystone Communities program. And to help our towns and cities band together, share resources, and comprehensively plan community revitalization efforts, we increased funding for the Municipal Assistance Program by more than 250%. Finally, because I know y'all care deeply about making your streets safer, my first budget includes historic investments in our state police so that we can be there to help when you call on us. My administration has your back, and we will work to make sure you have all the resources, support, and flexibility you need to serve your constituents. Look, I believe government should be a positive, productive force for good in people's lives, and it's an honor to work with you to make Pennsylvania the best place to live, work, and raise a family. We've already accomplished a lot, and I look forward to getting even more done working together.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Governor Austin Davis, and on behalf of the Shapiro Davis administration, I'd like to thank you for your hard work and dedication to the good people of Pennsylvania. No matter whether you work for a big city or a small township, your service is vital to your community. The governor and I believe that government should be a force for good in our lives and that we can do big things if we work together. Our constituents want us to take off the red jerseys and the blue jerseys and put on our Pennsylvania jerseys. They want us to bring people together and to get things done for all Pennsylvanians. And that's what you all are doing day in and day out. Best wishes for a successful leadership summit. Now let's work.
The steel officially closed in the mid-90s, but they had been declining for decades. So a lot of the conversation became, how do we reuse these 1,700 acres that we're standing on now, which was the largest brownfield in America? And some of that was on the private side, some of that on the arts and culture side, and some of that was on the public side. It's like, what type of incentives do we need to necessarily offer to be able to turn these properties around and get people to want to invest and really utilize one of the structural advantages we have, which is the history associated with Bethlehem Steel and our community. I mean, it's just been amazing. One of the things people talk about a lot is the vibrancy that we feel here in the city of Bethlehem and the energy and the fact that there's just a joy and a sense of community. And what kind of carried us through those difficult years was the fact that we had institutions, we had churches, Little League, schools that really came together and held together through those difficult times and said, we're ready to do the work, we're ready to be a part of the next era of the city of Bethlehem. They were asking us, what can we do? And as we've done these things, as we've built steel stacks, as we've built all around here, they've really come out and they've really supported our community for the next generation going forward.
I was a 32-year-old young mayor back in 1998 in my third month in office when Bethlehem Steel closed the plant here. Honestly, it was no surprise. We saw it coming for years, but nonetheless, we were a steel-making community for 100-plus years, and we had to reinvent ourselves for the future. And big reason why I became mayor because I was a young guy with a young family that grew up here. And it was time to move on to the next chapter in our history. And now fast forward 20-some years later, and all of this 1,800 acres, 4.5 miles along the river, have been transformed into an industrial and commercial park with manufacturing jobs and this great public recreation, arts and entertainment complex anchored here by the Wind Creek Hotel and Casino.
I often think of grandparents. And, what is grandmom telling her grandchildren when they're coming over to visit? Is grandmom telling her children they have to get out of town to be successful, that they have to live somewhere else? Is grandmom, when she's walking her grandkids around the neighborhood, are they going by blighted buildings with broken windows? Are they finding needles where they shouldn't find needles? If they're in the park, are they finding condoms where there shouldn't be condoms? Is she telling them, you need to go away? Or is she telling them, there's a lot of good stuff going on here. Things are changing, things are happening. If you guys move back, I could pick you up after school. I could babysit you so your parents have date night. Good things are happening here. And, I see a bright future for where we live.
Our economic base is certainly diversified, and we've got a lot of technology centers now. We've certainly always been a great state of higher education with so many good colleges and universities scattered across our state. And I think the future is really bright, but we really need to work hard to get back to that place where we filled big plants like this and we were making things and keep all those other sectors moving. And I think that's one of the tasks that we have here as elected officials and as administrators and people that work in our municipalities across the Commonwealth, whether you're the smallest of cities or boroughs or townships. We all, I think, have that common goal, and I think this is a great opportunity to be here in a place like Bethlehem and really celebrate those kind of industries.
I got so excited about the vision that was being laid out about steel stacks and the rest of the revitalization of Bethlehem that I actually left a Fortune 250 company where I was in charge of philanthropy and government relations to come to this little nonprofit because I was so excited about what was happening in Bethlehem and I just had to be a part of that. And I think what was so effective by both of these mayors is that we all had a seat at the table. They set out the vision, and then they let us all play in our own little sandbox to help develop our respective areas. So today, Arts Quest just gives you a sense here. Essentially, we are a nonprofit that our mission is to increase access to the arts for all. But we had a couple things there. We do that in blighted areas, and we do it to help support small businesses and tourism development. That's an important difference than just offering arts and culture. That gives us a chance to work with city departments, with mayors, with small business owners to get people on the same page about what kind of programming we are going to be offering. Funny enough, connection to Bethlehem Steel, Arts Quest was started because Bethlehem Steel was going out of business, and in the early 80s, people knew that. They had their second Black Friday, massive layoffs in 1983, and that's when our founder, Jeff Parks, kind of came up with this idea of how are we going to get people to come to the north side of Bethlehem where we've got Main Street and all of our colonial history. At the time, you could roll a bowling ball down the sidewalk on a Saturday and not hit anybody. So what could we do to attract people here? And that's something else that I want to impart on all of you. Authenticity is huge. We have, from the very beginning in 1983, focused on our strongest assets. And I say this because we all get more tired of those assets before visitors do. We can overlook them and forget what is right under our nose, and people are willing to travel and live around. So we started Music Fest in '84. Just to give you a sense about Music Fest, this past year we hosted about 1.3 million people from 45 states and 10 countries. It is the largest non-gated music festival in the country. We have 16 stages, over 50 acres in the city. 15 of those stages are free. We have 60 food vendors in there. Those are 60 small businesses. We pay every single artist. And we have over 500 free performances.
Public and private partnerships, collaboration, cooperation got us from that place where we were, as a city, we were losing energy, we were losing revenue in the 90s, to the place now in 2023 where everybody wants to invest and everybody wants to live.
I'm here to talk today about investments in federal funding that's coming in from the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law for municipalities and the state to be able to apply for their infrastructure needs in transportation. There's a lot of opportunity in this for the state to be able to make these investments in places that we haven't been able to in the past. A lot of new funding and additional funding in programs that we already have established.
There's really historic amounts of funding that are available. I've heard it referred to as once-in-a-generation funding that can really transform the digital divide that exists in Pennsylvania and across the United States. So that's why the Pennsylvania Broadband Development Authority was founded and was created, was to administer these funds and administer these projects so that we can really have an impact on closing that digital gap that exists between folks that are connected and folks that are not connected. And so that's really our charge, and that's our role. My first slide here is a slide. It's a map of what are the unserved broadband serviceable locations, or BSLs, you'll hear it referred to as, throughout the state of Pennsylvania. And I know it looks like just like a red mass there. There actually are individual locations on this map. So there are, in Pennsylvania, confirmed through FCC data, there are 279,000 BSLs, and those are locations. That's not households or businesses, it's both, it's all, that are currently unserved. And what unserved means in this context is less than 25 megabits per second download speed and 3 megabits per second upload speed. And so, what does Internet for All actually mean? I mean, that's one of the things we're charged with, is Internet for All. And it literally means that we serve every location that's on this map. The BEAD program actually is $1.16 billion that we'll be able to invest in projects throughout the state of Pennsylvania.
One of the biggest things that everything through the Commonwealth right now is getting police officers to fulfill the jobs that a lot of people are retiring and they're not replacing those officers that they want to replace. There's no one there to fill those jobs right now.
What will it take to recruit more?
They're doing different things, incentive programs. We're trying to do a lot of different things in a lot of different avenues right now to try to fill that gap.
One of the biggest things right now is our funding, staffing and firefighter recruitment and retention right now. We really are faced with those challenges all the time and really in the whole public safety field.
What is the key to recruitment?
Well, it's really changing to just changing the culture and thinking of what we do. What we once did, it doesn't work today, so we really have to adapt to those changes and really do a great community outreach.
We're concerned with a growing trend of municipalities that are falling behind in making their minimum pension contributions for their MMOs. Earlier this year, you may have heard about our department releasing a report with regards to pension plans, where we determined that 22% of all Pennsylvania municipal pension plans are in some type of distress. That could be moderately distressed or severely distressed. And it's those pension plans that help take care of us. Hopefully one day I'm going to call it quits. I have a self-imposed expiration date of my career, and I hope that my pension is there for me. So when I talk about pension plans, not only am I talking about you, I'm talking about me as well. But we're also looking at pension plans for entities like local police departments, firefighters, non-uniform employees, who, after a long stellar career, do want to retire. And it is our obligation. It's our legal obligation as a Department of the Auditor General to make sure that those pension plans are in good enough shape so those individuals can retire without having to worry about, is there enough in the pension plan for me to retire, or how am I going to supplement it? Right now, almost a quarter of the Pennsylvania municipal plan, we're talking about municipalities, pension plans are in somewhat of a distress level. That could be either severely distressed or moderately distressed. Either way, distress level isn't good. And what that means is that you currently do not have enough money in your pension plan to cover your retirees.
And what's your recommendation?
Is number one, for potential retirees, is to make sure you get a report on how your pension plan is doing. What the fiduciaries, what are they investing in? And also for the fiduciaries, make sure that you're doing the right thing, following the law. Make sure that you put in your required amount into your pension plans. Keep in mind that the fiduciaries, who are also municipal employees, are also retirees.
Primary legislation that Congress has to pass is the appropriations, federal funding for all the federal agencies. And they did pass a continuing resolution last week. Fortunately, that extends the government for another 45 days until November 17th. Up until November 17th, if they do not pass the appropriations, we could face another government shutdown, which would impact a lot of the federal programs that local governments receive either funding through or services through. So we are we're hoping that at least they can get most of the appropriations done. But it is another crunch time that's coming up on November 17th.
Local use of radar. I'm sure you're all tired of me talking about this. I'm tired of talking about this, but we just cannot seem to get this over the finish line. We obviously support this legislation. It's a public safety issue. It's also a modern technology issue. We have communities that use stopwatches to clock speed, and that's just ridiculous. But that's what we have.
We try to get radar. For 30 years I've been involved, we tried to get radar. We just want to make our city streets safe. Of the $125 fine, $100 goes to the state, not to us. It costs me about $50 an hour to put a police officer on overtime. 2 police officers, $100 an hour, I'm getting 50. Listen, all we want is the ability to do it. It doesn't mean that every city's going to do it, but our streets are getting unsafe, and we need the ability to use radar.
Our local officials are our community's best advocate. I can be in the Capitol every day talking to our 253 representatives and senators, but as local elected officials, you have a front seat to their offices when they're in their districts and when you call them in Harrisburg, and it's very important for you to be involved. They represent the same people that you represent. You are one of their constituents. You also have information they need to make good decisions about the legislation that's coming before them. Your appointed officials can help you develop data and information to talk to them about in regards to important information that the league is working on. But you have a voice and you have an opportunity to get involved and to talk with your representatives and your senators on a regular basis about things that are important and about the legislation that the league is working on, either for or against. We very much need your assistance. We need you to make contact with your House and Senate members, get to know them, invite them to your meetings, invite them to just have a general discussion about what's happening in your communities, so that when we do an action call and we ask for your help, you have a relationship with them and you're ready to go. It's not a cold call. They've talked with you before, and you can provide information to them and help them understand the importance of the legislation, whether it be good or bad, and give them local data that they can use in making the decision. And you also can hold them to a level of accountability that we at the League cannot, because you are their constituent, you are their local elected officials. So we ask for your help, and I am here to help you prepare for a meeting with them. If you ask, I will do anything you need to help you get ready for it. So again, you are your community's best advocates, and we ask for your assistance.
Here's the premise we bring you. There is a new issue in our country. It is not investment, it is not infrastructure, it is not immigration, it is not marginal tax rates, it is not education policy, it is contempt. It is not an issue related to other issues, it is an issue in and of itself. The way in which we treat each other, this is Arthur Brooks calling out the idea of an outrage industrial complex that is incentivized to make you hate other people. Don't take it from me, take it from scholars. Here's Matt Taibbi and again Arthur Brooks. The goal of the media enterprise that so many of us are addicted to, and I use the word deliberately, no offense taken, it's not an accusation, it's a fact. We're driven to go to these outlets that are trying systematically to pry families apart. That's the business model. We're the consumers. The more we go back, the more incentive the producers have to create the kind of content that will sell anger and feed audiences what they want to hear that makes you hate other people. Now, again, this is not accusatory, it's just an awakening, at least it was to me, that the fact that we're so divided is not an accident. I was talking about this a couple years ago to Marty Barron. He was at the time the editor of the Washington Post, and I said, we're going to try to make that whole system turn over. He says, good luck, it's $1 trillion business. How much do you have? The algorithm, cable news, radio, and I'm sorry to say, all of us who've been involved in politics are all linked, where the incentives are you get more famous, you raise more money, and you get more power the more you push contempt. I think the message is that we have a new issue in America. The issue is how we treat each other. It's not immigration, education, politics, economics, it's contempt. We have to join together with leaders across this state to overturn our addiction to contempt and replace it with dignity.
Our breakout session today deals with being able to generate revenue from a wastewater treatment plant. In Hermitage, for the last 10 years, we've been able to create energy by taking inorganic wastes and increasing our methane production, which allows us to burn that in generators and make electricity, which we sell back to the grid. And then that saves the users on their rental sewer rates. It's an anaerobic digester process. It involves tons and tons of organic waste, food waste, expired food off quality that we take in. We macerate it, break it down, feed it to our digesters, and it boosts our methane production. We clean that methane, we run it through a chiller, and we feed it to 2 generators, which generate the electricity.
What's your recommendation for communities around the Commonwealth?
I think if you have anaerobic digestion processes, this is an ideal problem solver, help reduce rates, hold rates down, and get rid of a landfill mass that doesn't need to be there. It can be turned into energy instead of being dumped in a landfill.
Our workshop today is about the Sustainable Pennsylvania Designation Program, a free online voluntary opportunity for municipalities to benchmark their performance related to sustainability decision making. Those are decisions at the intersection of environmental, equity, and economic-based problems and opportunities in their community.
What kind of potential does this offer?
Municipalities that go through this designation program, like I said, have the chance to benchmark their performance, but then because of the list of actions and resources that are on our website, it helps them push progress to the next level. Those resources help them understand how they can improve quality of life for their residents, potentially get some cost savings, and also the Sustainable Pennsylvania opportunity is recognized by DCED on their funding applications, so it could lead to additional funding for their municipalities as well.
Our workshop today begins with the Flock Security and Safety and Security System. It's a automated license plate reader system that has artificial intelligence that we've used to solve numerous crimes throughout the city.
And tell us, how can communities benefit across the Commonwealth?
We've been able to solve crimes much faster, and we've been able to track wanted persons and pick up wanted people that have resulted in additional arrests because of this technology.
Our workshop today is about a collaborative project with the Bethlehem Health Bureau, the local health department in Bethlehem, as well as our police department, and it's addressing social service needs in our community and how we collaborate together to do that.
How serious are those needs, and what can other communities around the Commonwealth learn from your experience?
Well, one of the most pressing needs is mental health. I think every community across the Commonwealth and nationally is dealing with mental health issues. So that's one of the biggest issues that we work on. If an individual has mental health needs, we're able to utilize our social workers and mental health specialists to assist the police department in those efforts.
The panel assembled here today is going to discuss the relationship and working environment between a council or a board and their township or borough manager, and how to use it, how to make it efficient, effective, and create a good working environment. As a board or a member of a board, you rely on the expertise of your manager and understanding their perspective, as well as with the perspective of your board members, is what's going to create that cohesive working environment. And so having the opportunity to hear from other managers and board members on what has worked for them will hopefully allow everybody to walk away with some tools that they can use.
The Business Leaders Network is an indispensable tool for the League, where we establish partnerships with key allies that work in local government and strengthen them collectively. We strive to add more members to the Business Leaders Network in order to cast a wider net in Pennsylvania for those resources. Constellation, for instance, Campbell Durant, they provide excellent legal services to local municipalities, and that's just an example, just touching the tip of the iceberg. So we're always interested in forging those constructive and positive working relationships with those entities that interface with local government on a daily basis.
How does a business become a member of the Business Leaders Network?
All they have to do is contact the League, but we can find them first as well. We have an excellent program and member services and training that will reach out to them, tell them all about the program itself, provide any necessary paperwork, answer any questions that they may have, and really stay on top of cultivating that relationship.
Yeah, we're FirstNet, built by AT&T. We have been around since 2017. Been a member of the network here since 2019. We are involved in this because we are the only cellular service built for government and public safety.
What kind of response have you had from being a member of the Business Leaders Network?
Very good response so far. We've gotten a lot of townships and municipalities that see the power of the FirstNet network, so they've reached out to us and we've established communications with them.
The Business Leaders Network, we have been a member since its inception. So we're looking at 15 plus years, a commitment from Comcast to the Pennsylvania Municipal League. The Business Leaders Network has just been an invaluable asset to the company, to the members that are served by PML. It gives us an opportunity to interact with mayors and council members and township officials, staff, and other vendors that deal with municipalities each and every day like we do. We're thrilled about our involvement, our continued commitment to the League, and we wish the League the very best going forward. And we look forward to new endeavors, new concepts, new ideas, new programs that PML offers each and every year.
So Marta Soul is members of the Business League Network, and we've been members for several years. And we have a lot of opportunities meeting with municipalities, doing speaking events. It's great networking and connection.
How valuable has it been?
Very valuable. We continue to want to support the organization and meeting with municipalities.
Constellation's been a member of the Business Leaders Network for an excess of 10 years now. We really see a lot of value being able to interact with the different municipalities at a deeper level, more interaction with staff here at the Municipal League, and just being able to really be a part of events like this.
Our firm decided to join the Business Leaders Network to get more exposure for our outsourcing niche and to meet the leaders of those municipalities.
What kind of response have you had so far?
I would say we've had a pretty healthy response, about 4 to 5, at least good leads in just the past 6 months of being a part of the network.
Would you recommend this to other businesses?
In this area, I don't wish to have your competition, but if for those that would like to get into the Business Leaders Network, if whatever product or service you're offering, this does get you in front of those leaders to allow you to get those types of connections you need for your business to thrive.
Business Leaders Network has been a tremendous value for InfraDAPT because of the fact that technology is becoming more ingrained in what they're doing, and we're just happy to be a part of it.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will support.
That I will support.
Obey and defend.
Obey and defend.
The Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
And the Constitution of this Commonwealth.
And the Constitution of this Commonwealth.
And the principles and bylaws.
And the principles and bylaws.
Of the Pennsylvania League of Cities.
Of the Pennsylvania
Municipal League. And I will discharge the duties.
And I will discharge the duties
of my office. With fidelity.
With fidelity.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
Thank you, sir.
I think that you all are serving your communities and helping in ways that you've never imagined. And I encourage you to continue to do that. I thank you for doing that. I thank you for your service to the League. And I thank you for the opportunity to serve as your president next year. So, thanks.
Thanks,
A few years ago, when our retiring executive director decided to take his leave from the organization after many years of service, the board of directors unanimously approved renaming our Center for Municipal Development to the Richard J. Shetler Center for Municipal Development. This is our 501c3 nonprofit entity, and our goal is to continue to raise funds in that entity so we can continue to do all kinds of training and professional development for local leaders. And that's a big part of what we do at the League. So we help train officials, whether they're brand new in their role as a mayor, a council member, a township supervisor, a borough council official, or whether they've been there for decades. We continue to offer training to help them do their job. And so this center is all about providing that training. So any money we raise goes directly to the nonprofit. And through our silent auction and the great gifts that have been offered, we'll do that Saturday and we'll have a wonderful time. And all those funds will go toward the Shetler Center. Well, by the end of today, we're going to have a brand new playground here at Fairview Park in the City of Bethlehem. And we have all kinds of wonderful volunteers, sponsors, and partners that have come together to make this project happen. The Pennsylvania Municipal League has been doing this project since 2010, and we actually started right here in the City of Bethlehem at Higbee Park, which is only a few blocks away, really. And we started this project with the national nonprofit group Kaboom. And Kaboom comes in and provides the project management. We partner with the Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and Natural Resources, DCNR. They provide a grant to the municipality. The municipality matches that grant. And then we bring in corporate partners to help cover the rest of the costs. We've been doing it all those years. This is actually the 14th playground that we've done here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. We've been all over the state, and we're very happy to come back in 2023 here in Bethlehem.
This is a great, I think, demonstration of what community development is all about. I mean, a community coming together to build a park in a neighborhood. You know, the mayor's here, Mayor of Reading I saw is here. I know Mayor Panto was here from Easton. So it's really great to come together it's how we get things done, working together.
We talk all the time about how the history of Bethlehem is the history of America. We have colonial history here, we had industrial history with Bethlehem Steel, and now we have post-industrial history. As people continue to move here, they want to invest in the city of Bethlehem, they want to live here, live, work, and play in our beautiful neighborhood. And we have a lot of young families here in this neighborhood in West Bethlehem. This park here that allows them, that we've heard when I was knocking on doors, I've heard from a lot of people that they wanted some more investment in this park, and that's what we're here about today. And it's really comes down to that idea of community, and I think you see with all these volunteers here about what that word means here in the city of Bethlehem.
I'm born and raised here in Bethlehem. Bethlehem's gone through an amazing transformation from the closing of Bethlehem Steel and 125 years of steelmaking history and all of the impact that Bethlehem Steel had, not just on the city of Bethlehem, but this region in terms of an employment base, but also, we produced a ship a day during the war effort in World War II. So helped really kind of change in some respects the course of the world by the products that were made here. So when Bethlehem Steel went away, it was a huge blow to the community. And so we've spent the better part of the last 25, 30 years sort of revitalizing the old steel plant, keeping remnants of it and parts of it, rebuilding on our past, sort of bridging toward a brighter future. And we've had billions of dollars of new investment in the city. And I think a lot of people would be surprised, if they thought about 30 years ago what Bethlehem would look like today. I think they'd be pretty surprised and pretty excited about where we've come.
Somebody want to hold that post over there? Jane, you hold that post there.
It's just great to have the league back in Bethlehem, and it's great to again have an opportunity. Last time it was Higbee Park, and here at Fairview Park to do a revitalization that really benefits the neighborhood and the community. A park like this really is a central point for a community, for a neighborhood. And parks can be sort of a source of good things, or they can be sometimes a source of negativity if they're not well kept and they're not well maintained and well regulated. So this is a park that really is a foundation for this particular neighborhood in West Bethlehem. And having these type of amenities in the city is really why people choose to live in a downtown and in a community like Bethlehem, or the other communities that are represented by the Municipal League.
I mean, this is what I look forward to every day, making a difference in our communities. Although that I'm a little bit outside of the border of my community, it was important that you give back in every aspect possible. It's about making sure that we provide for our youth and all people of all ages to have a beautiful park to enjoy. So this was important for me to give back. Local government and communities working together to make sure that we address such needs and getting the proper grant funding. Obviously, everything's going to take some kind of funding resources. So again, reaching out and making sure that we work in conjunction.
1, 2, 3.
Very excited. We have so many great partners, the city, and so many wonderful volunteers. We want to thank everybody that's come together on behalf of the Pennsylvania Municipal League and all the organizations to make this project a success.
Just talking to people at the dinners and breakfast and events like this is very important, because we all have the same challenges, and we all get together and we can compare notes. I steal or borrow from other cities how they fix things and how they get their grants and what they do to revitalize their city, make their cities clean and safe. It's all about clean and safe. Once you have a clean and safe community, people will move back. So I come here, what I expect to take home from Bethlehem, the conference here in Bethlehem this year is technology. What can we do to enhance technology to make our jobs easier rather than harder?
Well, we learned about sustainability, which is really important to be a part of the Pennsylvania sustainability process, and we can take that back. We're going to join when I get back. We just hired a sustainability coordinator. And also, we learn about a lot of the financial strategic things that we can do in the city of Harrisburg, but we really don't really need to know anything about strategic planning for finance, because we just settled $638 million debt.
Specifically today has been really exciting to hear many of our municipalities getting recognized, getting awarded. One thing that I'm definitely going to take back is the importance of sustainability. I saw some municipalities that are doing some great things that we are not far behind, but I think we could enhance on our part. So I'm looking forward to bringing that back. Overall, this conference has been amazing. Opportunities to meet and greet, and something that I often talk about, creating synergy with others to collaborate and again, not to reinvent the wheels. The sessions have been amazing, very fruitful. So again, I'm really excited to come back and bring it back to our administration and constituency.
The Municipal League is a really valuable partner to us in Upper Darby. We're new members, during my term. First time that we've been here, and we learn a lot from other municipalities and see what they're doing, how they do things. And the DCED also is a great partner for us. We're working with them on our 5-year financial plan. And that's really the backbone of what we need to learn and what we are learning here.
Local government is where it all starts. It's the most important form of government that we have. It's really what impacts us on a day-to-day basis. And we need to ensure all of our residents have an understanding, a transparency into their local government, and also that they are supporting all of the initiatives that not only our community is doing, but communities throughout the Commonwealth.
That's where the buck stops. We're in very challenging times, lots of crises all around us. The local government is where the rubber hits the road, and we have to have the resources and the capacity to meet the needs of people where they are, because we're responsible for the health and safety and well-being of our citizens. And if we cannot meet those needs, people will suffer.
Local government that's where problems are being solved. That's where you're dealing with your neighbors, your communities, your neighborhoods, and how we can go directly and fix the issues and create solutions. Because it is so important to be engaged with them so that they understand what's going on in their own communities. By doing so, we can create better tomorrows and greater partnerships locally to come to a common goal.
I think people need to realize local government is where it all starts. It's the lowest form of government, but it's the one that's the closest to the people. So it's where it all starts and ends.
That's where the rubber meets the road. I mean, locally, we don't have anyone to punt to. We have to make the decisions, and the decisions stop with us. Everything flows downhill, and at the local level, we're where the work gets done. And so I enjoy that. I know, talking to my other local colleagues, we really enjoy that. But again, local government is critical. It's important. It's where the people, they can come in, they can interact with us, they can talk to us, they can, really let their issues be heard at the local level.
I think the importance of local government really is accepting that a lot of things begin and end at the local level. Whenever a resident in our community is unable to get answers, they ultimately will find their way to our municipal building, looking for assistance, education, awareness, or support to oftentimes even be redirected with a level of advocacy to get the improvements that they need in their local area.
It all starts with our local government. This is our most direct interface with our government. It's a place to make a human connection and see that the people representing you are there to hear what really matters to you. So as mayor, I'm there to listen first and then speak about what matters to the community.
I think the importance of local government is it addresses local issues. All government is local. We can get together as we can be bipartisan. It doesn't have to be polar. Local government is what we can make it, and we can bring in the community citizens. It's more one-on-one contact with people that I sometimes think that's when you're in larger organizations or represent a larger constituency. That one-to-one contact is hard. My office is open. People can walk in and talk to me. I know they talk to council members on the street. We have our borough council meetings that we encourage people to attend to bring their thoughts and comments about the community.
Well, I think the importance of local government is, we're where the rubber hits the road. I mean, everything we do every day has a direct, visible impact, whether it's public safety through police or fire or EMS. We talked a little bit about taxation. We talk about roads. We talk about parks. We're the user level, and that's not to disparage Harrisburg or Washington, but really, we're the tool that our residents and our taxpayers get their hands on first. The actions we take affect their lives every day.
Local government is where the rubber meets the road, literally, right? We joke about potholes, but it's true. People want to see things get fixed in their own community. It's how they build their trust in government institutions and in institutions in general. So it's our job at the local level to listen to our community, to fix the problems, and lead from the ground up.
Well, I hope people will really understand that we're not the federal government, we're not the state government. We really are the people in your community that get things done. We're the folks that help maintain the streets, improve your parks, help make your community the best it can possibly be. We're local people there to serve you, and that's what local government's all about.
We actually do work together some and talk to each other and exchange ideas, and I think that's the value of the league, and I encourage people to participate in that so we can exchange ideas and lobby for solutions.
How can people get more information?
Well, you should start by contacting your municipality, and every municipality has a website. You can contact them. You could also go directly to the league, and we will help connect you to your own local leaders.